State in Torah. Vayikra Yudalit. So the Mitzorah on the 8th day, it says, "V'shachar sakeves b'makom yishchar achatas v'sa'oila b'mkayim hakodesh ki kachatas ha'asham hu l'kayin kodesh kedashim hu v'lokach hakoyin." Here's what we need: v'lokach hakoyin midam ha'asham. The kohen should take from the dam of the asham. V'nasan. 1 second, guys. V'nasan hakoyin al tenuch oizen hamitahera yimanis. And the kohen should put it on the right ear of the one who's being mitar. The alboyin yod hayamanis, on his right big toe, on his right hand, his thumb. The alboyin ragla hayamanis, and on his now. So again, this is speaking about the parsha of Asham, and he's putting dam on 3 places. He's putting dam, and it says right. He says he puts it on his right ear. He puts it on his right thumb. And he puts on his right big toe. Good? And now he takes the loik shemen, and after he did the dam, he pours it into the palm of the kohen hasmolis, that's the left. Okay? The tovel hakohen etzboy hayamanis min hashemen ashal kapay hasmolis. So you have a repeat of the word smolis in Tezayin. And then he spritzes min Hashem and betzbo 7 times in front of Hashem. Extra shemen he puts back on what? On the tenuch oize mitarer yemanis, bo and yoda yemanis, bo and ragla yemanis. So we have a repeat. After we spoke about the dam, we have a repeat of the exact same locale for the shemen. And notice we said the word smallest twice, the left hand twice. Now, so let's go ahead quickly. Pasuk Chaf Aleph. V'im dalhu, and if the kohen is poor, if the mitzvah is poor, v'im dalhu, if he's poor, then yoid maseges, and he can't go ahead and bring animals. V'lokach keves echad asham, he brings a keves the same as a rich person. He brings a keves as an asham. L'tnufa l'chaper alav, u'shtei soirim, he brings 2 birds, shtei b'nei yonah. And he brings on the 8th day, and what does he do? What does he do with it? And then we go through the same thing again. Pasuk Hey. V'shachas keves ha'asham v'lokach hakoyin midam ha'asham v'nasan al tnuchois nemitar yemanis boyin yadim yemanis boyin ragli yemanis, and that's by the dam. And then the same thing by the shem in Pasuk Ches v'nasan hakoyin min Hashem ashal kapay al tnuchois nemitar yemanis, and so on and so forth. So basically, you have 4 times he's going ahead and using the dam and the shemen. He's using it on the right ear, the right thumb, and the right toe. And in the parsha, it's stated in 2 inyanim, right? In the parsha, it's stated 2 ways. It's stated by the Asher, the beginning of the parsha, and repeated by the Ani at the end of the parsha, right? So that's the parsha. Good. Now this is going to help us a great deal to understand. Our Mishnah is, how do you know? The Mishnah says if you did kamitza with your left hand, that it doesn't work. If you did kamitza with your left hand, it doesn't work, right? So now with this parsha, we're all set up to understanding. Okay, so we're beginning on Daf Tes Amid Aleph. We're beginning on Daf Tes Amid Aleph. We're about 8 lines up by the 2 dots. Tes Amid Beis, excuse me. Kamatz b'smail. So Menani Mili, how do you know kamitza b'smail will not be good? How do you know kamitza b'smail will not be good? So Rabbi Zeira, Damakra, the pasuk says, "Vayakar v'samincha." This is by the Miluyim. Vayimale kapoy mimena, and he fills his palm with it. Kaf seimi yedei mahu. I don't know it's his right palm or his left palm. Kishu oimer, when it says by Mitzorah, v'lokach hakoyin miloy gashemen, and he should take the like shemen vayitzek al kaf hakoyin hasmolis, and take the shemen and pour it onto the palm. Guys, remember there's 2 kahanim there. There's the kahanim there. One is takes the loig, he pours on the left, and the other one takes the right and spritzes, right? Actually, I think. So the limit is kan smalit over there by the Mitzorah. It's smalis. Over there by the Mitzvah, it's smallest. Kan, it's smallest. Hakom makom shenema kaf. Any place it says kaf normally, ein el yamin. So when it stresses over here, the kaf, the hand, is the left. By Mitzvah, must be all over. It's what? It's the right. So that's your limud. That kamitza, you need the right hand. Fred the Gemara, how could I use it for a drasha? Well, mi boyle legufei. I need it what for itself. In other words, it's a chiddush, guys. You're using a left hand. I need the left hand for itself. I don't have it extra to teach me anything. I need it for itself. So therefore, if you look at the parsha, fellas, pasuk tesvav, we just said. Now pasuk tezayin. It's repeated a second time. So now I don't need a legufei. Now I could use it to teach me what? I could use it to teach me that lefty. Okay? So, and for the Gemara, smallest achrina ksiv. We have a second smallest, right? So since it says a second time, it limits it to mitzayra. For the Gemara, ve'ema ein mir achamir elo l'rabbis. Why don't we say the following? Ein mir achamir elo l'rabbis. Benji. You have what? You have one smile that's saying dafka left, a second small dafka left. We have a rule in Shas, ein mir achamir elo l'mayit, right? Ein mir achamir elo l'mayit. Very interesting, right? Interesting places, guys. Ein mir achamir elo l'rabbis. I said l'mayit is l'rabbis, guys. L'rabbis. V'im taimar v'lishtek mitravayu. Guys, if you want to tell me that you could use yamin, your right hand, don't say lefty at all. At the end of the day, after two lefts, you're going to end up with a right. So don't say anything at all. Get straight to the point. So this is a very this is what Taisa says. Says Taisa, every mirachamiyat you have, you can answer. In other words, it's a limit azoi. But enachinami, this question you can ask any single one. So don't say anything. Okay. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Anyway, so back in the Gemara. So right now, Freddy Marakasha, you have two smallest. Let's say it's to be Emir Achmir el Rabbis. Let's include righty that you can do knitza with the right hand. So it says go smallest achrina kasiv, right? It says it a third time and a fourth time. It says kan kasiv kan smallest ve'inacha smallest. So the third is to tell me that you don't dash in Emir Achmir. Fred the Gemara ve'ema adarabba ma kan smallest af ba'almanami smallest. So now, so what are you telling me? You tell me you don't say mir achamir el yamin because you have a third smallest. So that's every place else is smaller. Every place else is any place the kaf is a lefty, not just limited to mitzayra. Says Gemara abor smallest. There's a fourth one. Since there's a fourth one, it limits the tuat. Okay, nimsa really we're learning it from the first two guys. How do you know, guys? How do you know kamitza of the left hand, right? Which is a puzzle because it says by mitzayra right. How do you know? How you need a legufei? It says it a second time. So that's the first limit of Rabbi Zera, that the source for kmitza can't be done with the left hand is mitzayra, that it says smallest twice by mitzayra. Guys, good. Again, tonight's share is left-handed. It's all left-handedness. It's all to go ahead and figure out kmitza why it doesn't work on the left. So the first way is we went through the parsha, and the first way is because it says small twice. The third and fourth time is to avoid a problem. Baruch Hashem. Welcome. Abba smalls ksivi trey ba'ani. It says two smalls by ani, which the trey ba'asher. Okay, very good. So that's the first name, guys. We're all set again. What's for the bachrim who came late? The aim of the share is to figure out why kamitza with the left hand is no good. If you'd like to know what I'm talking to, you talk to the Rabbi and not to the doctor in the back. Now okay. So we have the pasha of mitzayra. We said it repeats itself twice. First by the regular guy, second by the ani. We have a few things to play with. We have a boyin yad. we have a regel, and we have an oisin to play with, and we just read smallest, right? And we learned from smallest, guys, the left hand dafka by mitzaira, any other place it's righty, and therefore kamitz is right. Now Rabbi Yirmiyah is intrigued. He's going to say, if you are going to go start dashing this parsha, the repetition, fellas, and you're dashing the repetition of the smallest, now you're going to have to dash in the repetition of the yadoi, regel, and oizen, right? That's also repeated, and that's the way the Gemara is going to go right now. If you're dashing the repetitiveness of the parsha, so you have to dash in the whole repetitiveness of the parsha. Okay. I'm going to Rabbi Yirmiyah Seira. Al boyin yoda hayamanis, val boyin ragla hayamanis. Dichsiv, that it says by mitzaira asher lamali. Like, why do you need it? Now this is going on the. Why do you have to say it, right? Notice it doesn't say anything about the eisen, fellas. There's three things, right? There's the ear, there's the thumb and the foot. They only mention thumb and foot. Look at the last taisus on the page. Al boyin hamanis, bein the ani, bein the asher, kaboy. We're asking, why do you need, again, once you're dashing smallis, let's dash in boyin yad of the foot, of the thumb, right? The kivin dechsiv al dam ha'asham, vel mokam dam ha'asham, memeli yadina b'shemen. Meaning, guys, what do you do with the shemen? You put it on top of what? Of the dam. So if you know the dam is on the right, guys, if the dam is on the right finger and the shemen goes on top of the dam, so don't tell me. Just we know that's where it goes. So it's unnecessary to tell me yada yamanis, boyin yamanis by the shemen. Guys, yeah, it's not necessary to tell me by the shemen because it goes al karchach, it's going on the dam. Yes, you hear me? Okay, so anyway, the matzi lemiboy mi tenoich oizen. The Gemara didn't mention the fact we could have said it by the ear as well. Well, the fisha hiskol lidrois kaftim mitzaira kamasig al boyin my darash debei bein dani bein dasha. Tyson is pointing out why are you picking kaf is because that's what we started off with by kmitza by the kaf. But huadin by the ear also it's extra, right? Why do we dash him with the ear? The Gemara doesn't mention anything about it. So he's telling Tyson's come to tell you it mentioned hand first because that's what we were discussing. Okay, guys, what's the question? It says by the ani and the usher, it says the lashon of shemen, that you put it on the ear, on the thumb, and on the big toe. I know you do. That's where the dam is, and the shemen goes on the dam. So that's what the Gemara's kasha is. So Yirmiyah B'Seira al boyin yoda hayamanis al boyin ragla hayamanis dichsiv lamali. What do you need it for? Right. So right, what do you need it for? Because again, if we know it's going to go on the dam. Says the Gemara, chad lahachshet tzedadin, the chad lifsal tzidei tzedadin. One to go ahead and be machsha the side, and one to say it's puzzle the two sides. What does that mean? Right? It should be al means. I think this is what it means. Because look, guys, over here, you're putting it over here. This is where you're putting it. You're putting it on the thumb, right here. And stadin would be the sides. And studied sudden would be this side, the side that's on the calf. So this side would be good, but the tzlidet stadim, this side would not be good. Okay, says the Gemara. Now it says al dama asham, al mokum dama asham. Says Taisvis, Pirish the lichtoiv oy either write al dama asham, right? Val mokum oy idi al dam. Why do you go ahead and switch? It says one place al dama asham, one place mokum. Be consistent, guys. You have the parsha of the ani and you have the parsha of the asher. In one place it says you should put it on a dam on the asham, and the other one says on makam dam asham. So be consistent, right? You're putting the shemen on the dam or the makam. So Taisa says be consistent. Either say both al dam or both al makam dam. Yes. Why the unique difference between the two? On that the Gemara answers Hani tzricha. Ikas rachmana al dam asham. If you would have said you put the shemen on the dama asham, hava mina isya in niskanech loy. Kasrachmana al makim. Pirish. What happens? I would say if we just say al dama asham, meaning only if the dam is still there could you put the shemen. Fellas, what happens if it got wiped off? I would say not. So therefore, what does it say? Al Makoim, the place where the dam was, even if it's not there anymore. That's the difference. Again, you need al dama asham and makoim asham. If you just say dam, you'd say, okay, I can put the shemen only if there's dam. What happens is no dam? Al makoim dam. You can put it even though there's no dam anymore. And because Rahman al makoim, avamina dafkin is kanech. Oh, makoim, you have to wipe it initially. Avlisya, but if the dam is there, ema havi chatzitza, and you can't go ahead and put the shemen on, kamash malon al dama asham. So therefore, I need both, right? Therefore, I need both. Want to tell me that if the dam is not there, you can put it on. Want to tell me that you don't have to wipe the dam and you can put it on, and it's not a chatzitza problem. Okay, now, so we have a drasha, guys. We have Rabbi Zeri's drasha. We have the smallest, yes? Okay, here's the problem. If I can't find limudim for the rest of the parsha, then I can't darshan smallest. So Rava is going to have a problem because he's not going to find limudim, and therefore he's going to have to find a new drasha. How do you know you can't do gemitza with the left hand? He's going to do away with Rabbi Zeri's drasha, because if the drasha it was true, you should have a drasha for, like you have the smallest, the fourth smallest. You should have a drasha for the three. Again, you have 12. You have 12. Now the ani is not going to be a problem, as we're going to see. Under the six things with the ani is not going to be a problem, and we're going to have drashas for what? For the usher, we're going to have drashas for. So says the Gemara. Okay. Amarava, may acher dichsiv al dama asham, the al mokim dama asham, ukusiva yemonis bedam. Now, once you told me that you put the shemen on the dam, then why? Then ukusiva yemonis bedam, and now it's written yemonis bedam, and the shemen goes on top of that. Al boyin, this is by the shemen. Al boyin yode hayemonis, the al boyin ragla hayemonis. Dichasivi b'shemen demitzayra asher lamali. Why do I need it for? Fellas, again, we have a parsha. It says in the parsha, you shechta asham. Guys, look at me. You shech the asham. You're taking the blood from the asham and you're putting it on, I'll just pick one, you're putting it on his finger. Then you have a parsha to tell me that what? The shemen goes on that place. Why do you have to go tell me that the shemen goes on the right finger? Of course it goes on the right finger. It goes on top of the dam. Once you told me it goes on top of the dam, you don't have to tell me finger. You don't have to tell me ear. You don't have to tell me foot. So I want to know, what do you do with that? That's and you got to figure it out 12 times. You have two. It says it twice by the usher and twice by the ani. You have three, excuse me, you have three, right? And you have three, but three, what does three mean? You have three in the parsha of the ani, and three in the parsha of, but the ani, it says, again, there's three places, right? You're putting it on by the ani, the shemen and dam. You're putting on the shemen and dam by the usher, and you're putting it on three places. So Fred the Gemara Kasha. If you're going to tell me you darshan, fellas, if you're going to tell me you darshan smalis, then you have to tell me also that you're going to darshan what? Ragloi hayamanis. You're going to have to darshan the yad, the oizen, and the regel of the usher. Good. So I have three things to darshan, guys, right? I got an usher and I got three things. So Ella Amarava, Ella Lashon Charata, guys. You know what Ella means? He's rejecting the source, guys. He's rejecting Smilis as the source for Kemitza. He's rejecting Smilis as the source for Kemitza with the left hand. Ella, you want to know something, says Rava? Yad L'Kemitza. We're going to learn out Yad L'Kemitza. It says V'yimale Kapoi, and it says by Mitzayra Yodei Hayamanis. So Vayimale Kapo is speaking about Kemitza. Memela, what are we going to know? We're going to know where it says Yad by Mitzayra, and it says Yad by what? By Kemitza, just like by Mitzayra. The Yad, again, this is the Yad of the Usher, is speaking right. Hu hadin, the Kemitza has to be with the right. And that's the limud we need. Guys, that's the limud we need. Yad, because there is Shava. We're using the Yad of Mitzayra Usher to teach me what? To teach me that Yad by Kemitza, where it says Lashon Yad, is also right and not left. Regel, what do I do? Regel, regel, chalitza, right? Regel's with the right. By chalitza, the woman, the sister-in-law takes off his right shoe. Good. Regel. What do you do with Eisen? Eisen, L'Ritzia. After 6 years, and Evan Ivri is very happy. He wants to stay with his Shifa Kanainis. He likes his master. What does he do? He gets drilled in his ear. He gets drilled in his ear. Which ear? The right ear. How do you right ear? From Mitzayra. So guys, set up. Let's chas Rebbe what we got. Reb Zayra said, again, what's the aim of tonight? The aim of tonight is Kamitza with the left hand's no good. Kamitza with the left hand's no good. That's the aim of the night. Good? Now, how do I know? Says Reb Zayra, smallest manas. It's doubled up. That's Reb Zayra. Says Rabbi, Rabbi, I got a problem. I don't have a drasha for everything written over here. I don't have a drasha of everything. Ella, where do I know that what? What do I do with it? By Usher, I'm going to do three things. I'm going to use the Yad of Usher, I'm going to use the Regel of Usher, and I'm going to use the Ozen of Usher. What's the Yad I'm going to use? That's what I need. Just like Yadai by Mitzoira's right hand, so too Yad by Kamitza's right hand. Boom, no small. What do I do with the Regel? Just like the Regel by Mitzoira is the right foot, so too by Chalitza you take off the right shoe. What do you do with the right ear? Just like by Mitzoira it's the right ear, so too when you drill the state till Yovel is the right ear. Geschmack. Now we got all the extras by Ani, guys. All the extras by Ani, right? So what do we do with that? Now. So Amrav Shisha Brei Davidi, Lifsel Yamin de Koyen b'Mitzayra. We should passel the Yamin of Koyen by Mitzayra. In other words, he should not be able to go ahead. He should not be able to makabel the dam in his right hand, right? Lifsel Yamin de Koyen b'Mitzayra Shlei Toimar, that you shouldn't say Uma b'Makayim Shalei Nisrabasa Smile. In a place where smile is not by Shara Voidus, the Kohen can't use his left hand. This Rabasa Yamin, the Makam Shenis Rabasa smile, in the place where by Mitzayra, where you pour the shemen in the left hand, Einay Din Shenis Rabasa Yamin is Einay Din is it not a din? So you should go ahead and include the Yamin. Is it not a din that you should include the Yamin? So this is where we're leaving the limit for a second. We're leaving the limit for a second, and we have a comment from Rav Shisha Ber Davidi, right? That he can go ahead and says the following: we should passel the right hand of the Karim and Mitzayra, that he should not be able to makabel the shemen in his right hand. In other words, he has to use his left. Why? Shlei Toimar Uma b'Makam Shleinis Rabbi Small. All the other avodas the kabbanis you're not able to do with the left hand. Nisrabasi Yamin, you have to do with the right. But Mokim that you makabel shemen in your left hand, ain't a din Nisrabi Yamin, and it should be kosher. I mean, that's why it says small to say that you're not makabel. In other words, I would think you're makabel in the left, in the right, from a kal v'chomer, and therefore it has to say left. Okay, and therefore it has to go ahead and say left. Let's see Rashi, guys. B'makom shenis rabasa small kigoin hacha dichsiv le'el smallis kol shekain shenis rabasa yamin, that you should include yamin to put the shemen in the right hand. Lahachi asa smallis achrina ba'asher gufa. Therefore, it says it a second time. The shinal of a kosav la'akev. The Torah is repeating it to Ma'akev. Guys, we saw at the beginning of the parsha, it says it twice, right? Guys, in the beginning of the parsha, I think Pasuk Tezvav and Tez Zayin. Take a look. V'laka koyin milag shemen v'yatzel kafas ha'koyin smalus one. V'tovla koyin esets by yemonis me'ashemen shal kapoy asmalus twice. So, you know why you have to tell me smalus? Not to teach me a din to all over, says Rav Shisha Brei Davidi. It's to teach me a din. It's to teach me a din that you might think that you could use the right hand. If you could use the left hand, certainly you should be able to use the right hand. What's the svara? Madach all over all other avodas. You can't use the left, but you could use the right. Over here, where you could use the left, ain't a din that you should be able to use the right. Therefore, I need smallis to tell me no, you can't use the right. But it's not available for a limud like Reb Zayra to teach me what to Yitzik to Kmitza. That's what continues Rashi. Lachias smalis achrina ba'asher gufa. The shina lava kasiv. It's repeated a second time. La'akiv smalis v'lo yamanis. Dafka left and not right. Dafka left and not right. So what is Rav Shishi Brei Davidi coming to do? He's coming to go ahead and say why the drasha of Reb Zeir is not a good drasha. Why did guys? What's Reb Zeir's drasha? Say smallis, and therefore you know it's got to be a right by Kamitza. Maybe smallis is a din unique for what the Mitzayra to tell me you can't use the right hand by Mitzayra, but not to tell me that you could use the right hand. You have to use the right hand by Kamitza. Now, the ida smallest the yad regel yemini the ani lamayasya. And what is the yad regel yemanis the ani? What does the come to teach me? Meaning, I found a source for yad regel oizen for usher. What about the yad regel oizen by ani? The Tani Rabbi Shmuel kol parsha shenemra v'nishnis. Any parsha that's repeated a second time, it's not there for a drasha, it's for the chiddush. Guys, the chiddush is the onius, it's a carbon oil of yored. Until now, we know there's three cases of oil of yored. Shuas Eidish, Shuas Bitoy, and Tumas Mikdash Gadashav. Now, you be mechadish in the parsha of Mitzorah. You know what? You know what else there is? There's a parsha of oil of yored by an oni. That's why it's repeated. So therefore, I don't need a limit for that. I don't need a drasha to use that for a drasha. So Rava therefore has okay. So let's take guys. Let's eye contact and let's take synopsis of what we've been holding until now. What was our aim to find out? Where do you know that left by Kamitza is no good? Said Reb Zeir, it says smallest 4 times, and be'emes it's the limit from the first 2 times. Says Rava, I got a problem. How are you going to use the drasha for everything else? Ella, I don't know from that. You know where I know it from? I know it by the parsha of Ani. By the Ani it says Shemen 3 times. I know dam you need it for itself, and shemen goes on the dam. So why do you have to tell me anything about ear, finger, foot by shemen of a usher? I know that if it goes on the dam, that's where it has to go, right? So Ella yad is what's to teach me two from mitzvah right hand to kamitza right hand. That's the limud. That's where he argues in Reb Zeira. Then what does the ear teach me? That teaches me the din of Ritzia about the Eved who wants to stay, that you get it in the right ear. And what does the regal teach me? It teaches me the din of chalitza with the right foot. What about ani? It says ear, toe, thumb by ani. There's nothing there. That was just repeated for the chiddush. What's the chiddush? I love you. Geschmack is anything. We're going weiter. Rabbi Barachana, Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Kol makom shenema etzba ukahuna. Anytime it says in the Torah, the lashon of etzba and the lashon of kahuna, etzba versus yad, kahuna versus bnei Aaron, guys. Anytime it says etzba yad, ein ele yamin, it means only the right. So in other words, you need two components to use the right hand. Etzba and kahuna. Kisal kedaitach, etzba kahuna being in both. Kidich what would an example be? And the kohen will take from the dam hachatos betzbo. Right? So it says, what does it say? 2 things. It says kohen, it says etzba. The gama mitzayri dechsiv, the tavel kohen es etzba hayamanis. Right? And the kohen is in our parsha is tavel is etzba yamanis. Good. So we have from mitzayri, guys. We have a source. It says 2 things. We've had this Gemara before. So it says etzba, it says kuna. That's going to teach me right. Fred the Gemara, Hari Kamitza, like Siva by Kahuna. It doesn't say Etzba, it says Kahuna. V'tanan, comments for small puzzle. So we just ruined your thesis. Your thesis is that what? You need Kahuna and Etzba. We see it just says Kahuna there. Just says Kahuna there. It doesn't say Etzba and is puzzle, even without Etzba. Again, we thought you needed both. We say, so Amarava, no, let's amend that. You don't need both. You need either or. Oy etzba, oy kahuna. You need either or. Oy etzba, oy kahuna. Amle abaya. Halechas evarim lekevesh. The bringing of the limbs of the animal of the carbon tamid to the kevesh. Dichsiv behu kahuna. It says kahuna. Dichsiv v'hikra v'koyin esakol. Hamizbeicha v'amamar. Zu elechas evarim lekevesh. This is the bringing of you're carrying the evarim. You're going to put them on the kevesh before you throw them on the fire. V'tanan, haregel shel yamin b'smoil. The regel is being held by the kohen in his left hand, right? Haregel shel yamin, the right foot of the animal is being carried in the left hand of the kohen. Ubeis oyer lechutz, and it's the skin is to the outside. So I got a kasha, guys. You just told me if it says kohen, oy etzba, you need the right. It says by bringing the pieces to the kevesh, it says kohen, and we see you could use the left. You could use the left. That's what it's saying. He's carrying it in his left hand. So I don't understand. Don't again. Anytime it says that, again, where's the avoida? That's the anything. Anytime this set rule, this is what it says. Ki aminan oy etzba oy kahuna b'dava hama'akiv kapara. Here's Heshi's point. When it says etzba kahuna, it's something that's ma'akiv the kapara. Masha enkein, bringing the kevesh, the limbs to the kevesh, is not ma'akiv the kapara. So in other words, we want to addend the addendum. Guys, okay. Yes, David.
Didn't we say above yad is l'kemitza?
Yeah, so
that was Rava, but you're asking me a question now, and Rava's modifying.
Yeah, the Chachamim speak about it.
Oh.
The Chachamim speak about it. It's a very good kasha, excellent kasha. Chachamim speak about it, very good. Now, so you have over here, guys. You have over here. We have a limit. Anytime it says etzba and kahuna. Says the Gemara 1 second. By Kemitza, it says only kahuna. So okay, anytime it says either or. For the Gemara, it says by bringing the Avram to the kever, it says kahuna, and you can use your left hand. Okay, let's addendum again. Kahuna, that's a kapara, but not kahuna. That's what? That's just transportation. That transportation, that is not. That's not going to be ma'akiv. You have to, not the right hand. It's not going to be ma'akiv. For the Gemara, 1 second. I'm lost. Very Kabbalah, guys. Kabbalah. You need the Kabbalah Adam. Ukasiv Kahuna. Dechsiv Vikrivu Mnei Aaron HaKahanim. Vikrivu Es Adam Zu Kabbalah Sadam. That's the Kabbalah Sadam. V'tanan Kibul B'Smoil Pasal. If you're makabel in your left hand, it's pasul. It only says kahuna, and it's part of kapara. For Rav Shimon machsher, and Rav Shimon says even though it only says kahuna, it's kosher. So it's a kasha from Rav Shimon, guys, right? Guys, the kasha from Rav Shimon. Rav Shimon says if you make a kabbalah with your left hand, it's kosher. 1 second, it says kahuna, and you're telling me any place it says kahuna, and it's part of the kapara. It's ma'akiv. Says Gemara, Rav Shimon Karmet, Rav Shimon Tati boy, Rav Shimon mat, Rav Shimon Tati boy. Rav Shimon needs what? He needs both. He needs both, fellas. Rav Shimon needs both. He needs kahuna and etzba. Since it says only kahuna by Kabbalah, so therefore what? It's kasha with the left hand. Again, you hear? You're saying, what's your kasha? It says kahuna by Kabbalah. Rav Shimon says it's kosher. And for the Gemara, you told me kahuna needs the right. Rav Shimon says you need both. You need kahuna and etzba, and therefore what? It's not going to work. It's not going to work, and therefore meaning you don't need the right. Right. For the Gemara, me boy Rav Shimon tarti. Rav Shimon need both. For Tanya, Rav Shimon Omer kol makom shnemar yad ein el yamin. Anytime it says yad, it's right. That's etzba. Ein el yamin, etzba is also only right. So l'chayra, how can you tell me you need both? He says etzba alone would do the job. Now, where do we ask the question from, guys? From Kabbalah. Kabbalah it didn't say etzba. Kabbalah it said kuna. It says Gemara etzba loy by kuna, kuna by etzba. So etzba, in other words, if it says kahuna, to make it right, you need etzba. But etzba doesn't need kahuna. So for the Gemara then, El koyin lamali. So why do you by etzba? What do you need with koyin? Why do you could say bnei Aaron? Says Gemara. You know what it says koyin bikuna. To stress that what? To stress that they have to be wearing the big day kahuna. To stress that they have to wear big day kahuna. If they're not wearing big day kahuna, then it's possible. That's why it says koyin. Not to tell me that you need the right, but to tell me what? That it's koyin. So Rav Shimon, he needs, now comes out. Rav Shimon says koyin needs etzba. Etzba doesn't need koyin. and where it says koyin, everyone else holds koyin's enough to mean right. So therefore, where it says by kamitza, fellas, where it says by kamitza koyin, we know it's the right. Where it says, we know it's the right. By Srika, it only says koyin. So Rabbi Shimon should say it's kosher, right? Fellas, since it says only koyin, Rabbi Shimon, according to Rabbi Shimon, it should be kosher. Right? Srika like sibu el kahuna v'tanan zarek b'smal puzzle. If you do srika with the left, it's puzzle. Like polig Rabbi Shimon, I like Rabbi Shimon. He should argue because it only says koyin, it doesn't say etzba. It says Mabaya polig b'braisa. He argues in the braisa. In other words, he does argue, but it's in the braisa. The Tanya kivel b'smal puzzle. Rabbi Shimon machsher. We said that already. Zarek b'smal puzzle. Rabbi Shimon machsher. Yizarik bit the small. If you do Srika bit small, Reb Shimon also says it's kosher. Why? Because it only says koyin. So Reb Shimon says he'll serve. Right? It's taka kosher. Why? Since it only says koyin by Srika and etzba, you will be kosher with your left hand, according to Reb Shimon. Now, ve'hel adam rava yad yad l'kamitza, right? Lomali mikahuna nafka. David, is this your question? Hada Oma Rava Yad Yad L'Kamitza Lamali. Why do you need the Yad Yad L'Kamitza to teach me left, right? You learn it says Kuna. Guys, look at me. What's the rule? As long as it says Kayin, right hand. Good. It says V'Kamatz HaKayin. What does that mean? The Kamitza has to be done by the Kayin. Automatically, it's the right hand. Correct. But didn't Rev Brava learn it out from a Kal V'Chomer, a Gezer Shava Yad Yad, from Mitzayra? Why do you need the Gezer Shava Yad Yad Mitzayra? The fact it says Koyin tells you it's the right hand. You learned it out. It says Yad by Mitzayra, and yet it's right. And therefore it says Yad by Kmitza. It's right. You don't need that. I know it's right. You know why? It says V'Kamatz HaKayin. And what's our rule? Anytime it says Kayin, it means right hand. That's like Fred the Gemara. Anytime it says koyin, it means the right hand. And for the Gemara, I'll tell you what it means. Chad l'koimitz, one the right hand for the koimitz, the chad l'kidush koimitz, and chad to be mekadesh the koimitz. Again, this is the second step, right? After you do the kmitza, you put the koimitz in with the right hand. You put it in with the right hand. Guys, here's the problems. Rashi says over here, you can't put it in with your left hand. Rashi in the Zvachim Daf Chav Dalet says you can't hold the kli with your left hand. It has to be held with the right hand. Okay, anyway. If you have a chance, look the Shittim Betzes Gimel. But we'll go weiter. Anyway, so why do you need why do you need it? I need the extra yad to tell me what? It doesn't say which is which. So guys, I have two limudim. V'kamatz HaKayin, right hand. Yad from Mitzayra, right hand. One to tell me the komitz itself, one to tell me the kedushas kli when you put it in a kli. Okay. Now, Ulaman da Omar Nami, the boy kiddush komitz, Reb Shimon, right? Reb Shimon has the loy boy kiddush komitz. Reb Shimon, we're going to see later on. He says you don't. He said once the kamitza is in a once the kamitza is done from kli sharesh, you can put it directly on the mizbeach. You don't even need putting in the kli. So what is he going to use it for? Rav Shimon loy kiddush komitz. Ulaman da Omar Nami the boy kiddush komitz. Rav Shimon ubesmoil achui machsha yad derava lamali. And according to that limud, either way, yad teaches me the right hand. There's an opinion that Rav Shimon says you could do it with the left hand. Yad so the comments misham that you can tell me one teaches me what putting it in a kli, right? Rav Shimon says you don't have to put it in a kli. There's 2 days what Rav Shimon holds. Machlokes we'll see later on. The bottom line is, why do you use yad? Says Gemara, ila kamitza gufei alibed Rav Shimon. If you tell me that kamitza itself according to Rav Shimon, right, that has to be done with the right hand. My time to Rav Shimon, Damakra. It says kodesh kedashim he kechata suka asham. What does that mean? That the mincha is like a chatas, like an asham. Bolo of the biyad. If you do it like an asham, of the biyamin kechatas. Excuse me, I said asham chatas. Guys, a chatas, you put the blood on with your finger. You put your blood on with the finger, right? And therefore, if you come to go ahead and put it on with your hand, right? then like it's like a chatas. Then you use your right hand, and therefore the kmitza has to be done with the right hand. Bola of the biyad of the bimin kechatas bola of the bekli of the bismo keosham. And if you came to go ahead and use your left, right? Rashi says loiv the bekli shekidish kaimetz bekli. So if you put it in a kli, oiv the lekidish kaimetz bismo keosham mitzayra. You can go ahead and use it with the small like an osham mitzayra the chsib be small. So in other words, by the chatas of an asham, you use your left hand. So if you're going to use the kli, you could use the left hand according to Rav Shimon. If you use your hand directly, right, you're going to go ahead and use your. You're going to use your. That's what he learns out from Yad Yad. No, he doesn't. Excuse me. He, according to Rav Shimon, right? According to Rav Shimon, we're using. We're going to learn out that you can use your right hand for the kamitza. For the right hand, he's going to learn it from the fact that it's compared to a chatas. And if you're going to use a kli, it can even be used with the left hand. Okay? So what is the yad yad? Minchas chayta, guys. Minchas, he uses yad yad. He needs yad yad. Reb Shimon would need yad yad for what? For the minchas chayta. He would need a what? The gezer shavi yad yad the minchas chayta, which is possible with the left hand, right? Now, why we need a special limit? Why would you need a limit to tell me that you can't do kamitz with the left hand for the minchas chayta? Why is it different than the other? Okay, so guys, why do you know Reb Shimon? Reb Shimon's dash in time of the krah. Why is there no shemen on the minchas chayta? Because we don't want it to be a carbon muhudar. We don't want it to be so. What might you think? You might think you could use your left. Therefore, yad yad teaches me what you have to use your right. Let's see it inside. Okay. So loy nitzrucha, the yad yad elo lekaimitz the minchas chayta. Sakadai the chamina hoyel v'am Reb Shimon shlayei karbanai mehudor, right? Ki kametz la nami bismol tiskasher. He says that it should be such a mehudor carbon, right? You're going to use your left hand. You could it should be kosher kamash malon. You have even by minchas chayta you have to use your right hand. So guys, how many limudim do we have? Guys, we have the first one. We have smallest. Rabbi Zeir is smallest. We have Rav is what yad yad, and now we have Rav Shimon kechatos. We have Rav Shimon's kechatos, right? If you come to use the chatos, you use your left hand. So you have basically three limudim, which was the aim why it can't be done with the left hand. We have three sources why it can be done with the left hand. Yeah, we have a minyan.